All right, ready to go?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be located. It is August 18th, 2018, and we are here for our 66th show. 66.
It's a lot.
Way to go.
Can they see your face with a hat?
I think so. So, 66 show, that's pretty good. I began writing this morning at about 5 o'clock this morning. I woke up, I had to deal with the leg. I won't get into all that again, and it was pretty painful, so I had the energy going, dealing with the pain of the bandage change, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start writing stuff as it transpires today. So if I had a thought, I would write it. If someone made a comment, I would write it, and just kind of let it flow through the day. So I'm going to jump around probably a pretty good bit, but hopefully you like it, and I'm going to jump right into my madness from today.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. As always, thanks so much to all of you for watching. If it wasn't for you, again, we wouldn't do this. This group has really become kind of a household thing for us. It's like part of our day and our everyday. So again, we welcome you into our busy home, and if it wasn't for you, then we wouldn't do it. But you all are in our house every day, and hey, we really appreciate you watching and welcoming you into our world.
I could tell you're feeling a lot better today.
All right. Anyway, thanks as always, and thank you for all the likes and all the comments and all the support. All right. Much love. Great stuff. All right. So as usual, we're going to jump right into viewer comments. And again, I wrote down thoughts and topics as the day kind of went on. So I might go from a comment to a topic and then back to a comment. All right. So we had a match last night that was going on. Federer and Wawrinka.
Right. We didn't get to finish it because there was a delay due to lightning.
Yeah.
And then the match didn't come on back on ESPN. There instead we're showing boxing.
That's right.
So I had to look at it through my phone.
So last night when we stopped recording, Federer and Wawrinka were playing. They had split the first two sets, right? 7-6, 7-6.
Yeah.
And there was like lightning or something. They went off the court, came back, and then Federer took the third 6-2.
Pretty easily. That was bad for Wawrinka. Good for Federer.
So I guess they come back and Wawrinka just kind of goes away, I guess, and that's that. For me, I think Wawrinka looks real good.
He does. He's got a great chance at the U.S. Open. You never know with him.
Yeah, I mean, he can easily be an unseeded player on any fantasy team.
Well, I think he's going to be because he's a wild card. And he's dicey for anybody. And I don't think Nadal, Djokovic, or Federer want to see him on their side of the draw.
So, yeah, Wawrinka looks good. I mean, he's not back to where he was when he won this tournament before, right?
Right.
But he's not far away. So watch out for Wawrinka. Again, Federer being arguably one of the best of all time, he still only looks at 75-80% to me. And maybe that's
Federer?
Yeah, maybe it's because compared to vintage Federer 07, 08, compare him to now, it's a slightly different product.
Well, he hasn't played matches since Wimbledon, so I think he's a bit rusty on matches, but he still look good.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. If anyone on tour could play 75% of Federer's game, then Federer would have a lot of other people in finals. That's all I'm saying.
That's correct.
So I still think he's 75%. So, I mean, with that said, I don't think at this point in time that Federer would be a favorite to win the U.S. Open, right? I don't think he would be the favorite.
I don't think he's the favorite, but I'm really dying to see what happens tomorrow. I think, I really thought he was going to lose to Goff and because he did not want to face Djokovic.
Yeah, I mean...
But now that I think about it, he probably doesn't want Djokovic winning that Cincinnati. The only one he's missing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Honestly, I tinker with the idea that Federer may lose to Goff today simply because if he meets Djokovic for the first time in a while, I would rather it be the first time at the major and not give him a taste of his game to kind of work out between now and then. So it looks like we're going to get the showdown, and I look forward to it. I do have to draw my line. I will be rooting for Federer in this one.
So will I, and I think he actually has a good chance with the way Djokovic, to me, has been looking. He looks vulnerable, and anybody could take take him to 3 sets, it looks like.
Yeah, for me, I followed Federer since he was 16, 17 years old. I have a Roger Federer logo on my back, quite large one. I'm a Federer fan. I got my Federer hat on. So I will be rooting for him. I hope it's a great match for everyone in the crowd. Maybe a good tight 3-setter. But I do hope that Roger pulls out the win.
Yes.
But nonetheless, though, personally, if you take the big three, Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, and I had to rank them 1, 2, and 3 going into the U.S. Open, I would have Nadal 1, I'd have Djokovic 2, and Federer 3. So for me, Federer could win the U.S. Open, but I think if Federer is going to win the U.S. Open, he needs Nadal or Djokovic to lose before he would get to that portion of the draw, probably a semi, to meet either one of them. So I think if Djokovic and Nadal bail out, then Federer has a shot. But if he meets, I think, Nadal or Djokovic, I think Federer's going to get a big L there.
Maybe. I think that tomorrow's match, I think Federer needs to beat Djokovic. He really does. Why? Because he needs to go with a good, confident match. And if he beats Djokovic tomorrow, it'll put a little damper on Djokovic's mood and, thinking that he can win. I mean, he would have Djokovic rethinking, can I get back to the finals at the U.S. Open?
Yeah, and she made a good point, too, just a second ago. I didn't think about it. If Djokovic wins this, he'll have another record that inches him closer to some of Roger's stuff.
Yeah.
Where he would be the only player, I think, to win all of the ATP 1000s, so that Cincinnati would kind of put the icing on the cake. I think Federer may want to try to stop that. But
I think so. I think he does.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he does. I think he cares about that. Especially with a rival like Djokovic. It's not his best buddy, Nadal.
Either way, again, I don't think Federer is the favorite. I don't think... And the only way I foresee Roger winning the U.S. Open is if he doesn't meet Nadal or Djokovic on the in round.
Which could happen.
Could happen. Anyway, this was about 6:30 in the morning when I got to this point. I had little times next to it. So we had a comment come in around 6:30, something like that, from Rahesh. So I just wrote it in there. We're going to jump right to a comment, and that came from Rahesh. You going to read it?
Good to see you guys. Yet to watch the episode, but was happy to see you both. Hi, Carla. ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy muy bien, Rahesh. ¿Y tú?
See, Rahesh brought some Spanish out. Let's go!
Cansado.
What?
Which means tired, because I've been
Come
working
on.
since 5 this morning. I was on the road while he was at home writing.
Yes, no, yeah, we got up at 5 because again we had to deal with this thing, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna stay up. I just started researching, doing notes, thinking about fantasy team, thinking about the U.S. Open, and just started writing. So it's gonna be a long one, but I'm gonna keep going. But hey, great message. Good, thanks for the shout out.
Thank you, Rahesh.
Appreciate it.
And then Rahesh came in with another comment after that. He said, actually Novak praised the short clock method and said he liked it. Not sure why he said he didn't like it. Not sure where he said he didn't like it at all. He said in the past interviews, as they are making decisions without consulting the players, and it's a fair argument. And then I guess Kia added on to that. But
look, basically the consensus is we in the last show we had discussed maybe Djokovic was flustered with the shot clock and therefore didn't like it, blah, 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 something along those lines. Rahesh asked, where did you hear that? Which is a great question. We were responding to a Kiyosama question, and she responded on her comment. You want to read her comment?
Sure, and I watched the interview too, so I'll put my 2 cents in.
Yeah, so it was good stuff.
I heard this earlier around Wimbledon that he was in favor of the shot clock, but then some commentator during the past week mentioned that he was complaining about it. Now, I don't know if it's based on past comments or not, but to my thought was actually seeing the clock counting now, he can be disoriented, bothersome to someone. As it was already discussed in the video, there's always been rules pertaining to serving within 25-second window. But it was obvious some players have not always kept it. With the shot clock now visible on the court, the pressure mounts as they no longer have the excuse of blaming the umpire for being too impartial or nagging, etc. I watched when Djokovic was being interviewed. Yeah, I mean, he didn't say that he was against it, but he said it annoyed him a bit because they got on his case about bouncing the ball a few times. He passed the 25 seconds. You can tell it bothers him. You can see it in matches. I've seen it in the match today against Cilic. I saw it yesterday in the match against, who did he play? I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Who did he play yesterday? Novak played 2 matches, didn't he?
I think so. I'm not sure.
He played Cilic today, and he played Who did he play yesterday?
I don't recall.
He went 3 sets.
I don't recall. Anyway, let's.
But you can see that he's bothered by it.
Yeah. No, I think all of that is really wonderful. I mean, research all the way across.
And he is right. I mean, you can see that it just bothers him. And yeah, and I do agree with Rajesh that they should consult with the players. Being that he's the president of the ATP Players Council, they should consult with them. Otherwise, what's the point of having that?
Anyway, you know what I like to say about the shot clock thing. A rule's a rule. Just follow the rule and
yeah, I agree with you.
All right, so directly after that comment,
Dimitrov, sorry, that's who we played yesterday.
Oh yeah, it was Dimitrov. Yeah, good call. All right, so directly after that comment, Wayne Chia came in with 4 comments in a row. So
sure.
We're gonna read each one, and then we'll pause. We'll read the first one. We'll stop, discuss it. Second, stop, discuss it. Third, and so forth.
Okay.
All right. So what was his first nugget?
He said, "Do you notice that most players, other than the big 3, perform poorly in the week immediately after winning a tournament? Best of 5 would make it worse." Yeah, I do notice that. The example is Tsitsipas. He made it to the final and loses in the first round of Cincinnati. Severev happened to him before the Rogers Cup, the tournament before that. He did well, and he lost early in the Rogers Cup. So yeah, I think it's because they're inexperienced. They're not as dominant as the top 3. The top 3 are used to going to the finals or semis all the time. These guys have yet to have a pattern, a solid pattern, or solid wins all the time. They're not used to it.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. Also, too, when you're young and you have never made a final or that deep, you kind of get wrapped up in the moment. You might sidetrack a little bit mentally. You might want to celebrate. You may want to have a little bit more to drink than you ever drink while you're training. You may go to a party. You may celebrate with your girl or whatever it is that the young player does. But it's something that goes on in any sport for that matter. I mean, you get a college player that jumps into the pros. The first year or two he's getting drilled in football. You get a rookie that comes out of high school and jumps into professional basketball. I mean, he's getting knocked around pretty good. So for someone at that age, Tsitsipas' age, to make a final, that's a big deal, and deservedly so. They probably celebrate, and they don't know how to transfer the stress or the excitement back into the realm of stress on the court. So as they figure it out, it tends to climax, and that's when the greatest athletes become great, and the ones that can never separate the two, they just kind of stay subpar.
And that's why you have to give a big ups to Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, because they're consistent on the tour.
Yeah. So the Wayne Chia part 1 was, why is it, unless it's the big 3, that these younger players, or any player for that matter, less those 3, gets deep into a tournament final, whatever, even wins the thing, and then the next tournament they do subpar and bail out in the first or second.
Right.
So anyway, that's a great point. Now he's got 3 more, I think.
Yes. Yeah. He says, maybe I'm mean, but I take pleasure in watching next gen perform poorly against the big 3.
Okay.
I'm with you. I love Nadal, Federer, and I respect Djokovic. And honestly, I do want to see them get more slams and more wins. So I'm guilty of that too, as him.
Yeah. I think
I don't even want to see them retire.
Yeah, I think the next gen stuff, the whole the pitch behind it, trying to sell us something out of the same field, the next gen thing, man, it's just kind of weak. I don't have any.
But I mean, you like seeing the veterans win, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm always for the veterans. Yeah. I know that the next generation has to take over, but I don't want to see these guys retire anytime soon.
Yeah, we talked about the next gen stuff yesterday. To me, in my opinion, it's just these 3 people are just continuing to dominate, and therefore no one else does anything. So now we got to make a tournament just for them.
Sad.
Anyway.
Well, the next comment he makes.
Comment number 3 from Wia. Same thread.
I can understand why Fognini seemed unhappy about the hype and the special treatment given to the next generation. He was unhappy Shapo got to play on the show courts at Wembley. These next gens should prove themselves first. Totally agree with you, Wayne. They need to prove themselves. See, now, as far as Tsitsipas, he deserves to be on a show court because he's put quite a good hard court season, don't you think?
Well, I think Fognini was arguing about Shapovalov.
Yeah, and I agree.
Shapovalov hasn't done anything.
Well,
Tsitsipas has won a tournament.
But he forgot that he was playing him in his turf. Wasn't he playing him in his turf or no?
No.
Rogers Cup wasn't on his turf? It wasn't in Canada?
Who? Oh, yeah. I
It's
think
in
so.
Canada, so I mean, why would he think that they wouldn't put him on a show court? They're gonna put him, Ray, and Nick on a show court.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's their country.
That makes sense.
And let's be real, Fognini. I mean, you got to put like these braids that stick out over here that I did back in the '80s. You know, just to, I don't know, stand out.
Exactly.
Might want to make your game stand out more.
So, real quick, timeout. If you see Carl and I may not have the normal energy that we have.
Oh, I'm trying.
It's because we've been up since like 4:30, 5:30, and haven't stopped.
Working nonstop.
The hospital the whole week and everything, but we got to get this done.
No, I'm getting into it. I'm good.
Yeah, we got this.
I'm
Let's
good.
go.
I'm good.
We got to fight.
I'm good. But yeah, Fognini, to me, he has no right to say anything.
Well,
you haven't proved yourself. Your wife proved herself. She retired right after she won the US Open.
So look, I do agree with a little bit of Fognini's statement.
Yeah, they have to prove themselves.
They need to prove themselves.
Yeah, you could have put Shapovalov at the show court of the US Open because he hasn't done anything.
I think it was an argument at one point. Why was Zverev going to be or not on show court, and Djokovic just came back and he was on show court? It's because Djokovic sells tickets.
He's 13. He's a 13 Grand Slam major. He deserves to be on a show court.
All right, so now go to his fourth one.
I don't see a dark horse winning. The big three just want it too much. The second slam that would give them the advantage over the other. Very true. These guys, deep down inside, they want to win. They don't tell, Nadal might not say, Federer, I really want to win this US Open. Or they really want to win it. They're hungry. From what we've seen, Djokovic has struggled in this tournament and the past tournament. But you can see that he wants to win it. He does not want to lose. Justin, if you notice, Djokovic has gone into 3 sets, but he doesn't want to lose. And he wins that third set.
He finds a way to win.
He finds a way. He does not want to lose. He wants to be in form for the US Open. Same with Federer. And Nadal was smart not to play this tournament.
Okay, so the reason why I like this fourth part of his question a lot is we've mentioned this, we do a fantasy team for the US Open. And again, you can pick 5 players, max 5 players that are ranked 1 through 16, 2 that are ranked 17 through 32, and then 1 unseeded player, or all of them unseeded if you want, but those are the max in each category.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think about a dark horse because I have to pick that unseeded player.
Wawrinka would definitely be a good dark horse to have.
Well, if he's a wild card, therefore he couldn't be seeded, correct?
No, he's not seeded.
So he would be a good dark horse per se, but not because he's been there before. So that's kind of we'll leave Wawrinka out of that.
I guess a good dark horse would be Tsitsipas.
What about the guy that Federer beat today? What about Goffin? Possibly.
Possibly.
Now look, here's why I bring this up.
Someone like Kachanov could be a dark horse.
All right, so why don't she made this comment? I want to say it was either in the wee hours of this morning, because right after this I have a note that says I caught up on comments. Now I can just see what happens next. So I think I wrote that at about 7 this morning, 6 this morning, but he may have written it at 2 in the morning for all I know. I'm not sure. But I wrote a note here that if it got to the point when I'm making my draw and it came down to the following players, who should I pick? Mm-hmm. If you had to choose between Wawrinka or Del Potro, who goes farther in the U.S. Open? I get it, we haven't seen the draws. Heck, they may be right next to each other. But let's say they're on opposite sides of the draw and you have to count on one of them, not both, one of them, to go the farthest into the draw. And let's say they both have favorable draws. And the end result would be them meeting.
I go Wawrinka.
Who do you take?
I take Wawrinka.
Why?
Because I think he has more variety in his game. Potro has, yes, a huge forehand, but I don't think that he can last long on the courts. He just looks tired sometimes. Okay. And I think Wawrinka finds a way, and he is hungrier than Potro, in my opinion.
Okay. Not agreeing or disagreeing. Now, let's...
they're both great picks. That's my pick.
Now, let's say Wawrinka and Del Potro met in any respective round. Who wins?
Wawrinka, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is good information. I don't have an answer to that, and I'm starting to get the feelers out. So I'm asking all of you, if you had to choose between one of these 2 athletes, Wawrinka or Del Potro, and you only could choose one, which one would you choose? All right, and then give me a brief nugget on why. Let's discuss it. Think about it. If I pick a fantasy team with 8 players, everybody's going to pick Djokovic, Federer, Nadal. I can only pick a total of 5 in the top. I can only pick a total of 5 in the top 16, so I don't want to squander my other 2 high picks. So I was thinking Del Potro, but then I said, wait a minute. I could go ahead and get Wawrinka as unseeded, pick up another. So picking Wawrinka would be good, but I'm scared because, actually...
I'm not scared with that pick. I don't
actually,
know why you're scared. That's a solid pick.
Okay, so
I mean, I'd pick him over Andy Murray. Andy Murray, I'm not even gonna look at.
all right, now here's the last part of that question, or my question. You have Wawrinka or Del Potro, your choice, and then you had to add a player to help him through a team tournament where they played singles matches. You want the strongest team. Would you take Kachanov, Tsitsipas, Kyrgios, Shapovalov, or Coric? Only one of those. So if you respond, you're going to say Wawrinka or Del Potro and one of these players: Kachanov, Tsitsipas, Kyrgios, Shapovalov, and Coric. Okay? So these are groups. Today, when I caught up, I said I'm going to start thinking about my fantasy team. This is what I've got so far. Still don't know what my unseed's going to be, but
I would go with Tsitsipas. I mean,
you think?
Yeah, the 2 one-hander backhands can do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So anyway, with Kyrgios, the only scary thing is that he can be so good, but he always just acts like a buffoon.
His heart is not into tennis. He doesn't love tennis. It's not his passion. He found something that he was talented in and won in juniors, I imagine, a lot, and got to the pros, but he just doesn't have the desire to work hard. He doesn't have it.
I don't know what it is.
There is no desire. You look at him, there is no desire. He doesn't want to really dig deep to win a match.
I mean, he can go from being a superstar player that can beat anybody in the world to the biggest bozo in about 10 seconds flat. Mm-hmm. If he can just, I mean, I've been saying this now for 66 shows. So here's another question I have for all of you. And you can respond this by simply 3 letters, yes or no. Would you use a slot on your fantasy team for the U.S. Open? Would you use a slot with Kyrgios? Would you use it or not?
No, I would not.
No, when you're going into competition, because we kind of...
I'd rather pick Andy Murray over Kyrgios, honestly.
All right, so let me check the time.
It was a 17 minutes, just a few minutes.
Okay, so we're at 21. All right, so we're doing pretty good. Part 2 we should be able to get through. All right, so I had a note here because I was keeping time. It was 7:05. 7:05. So it was 7:05, and I had already gotten this far. So right as I was about to kind of set the notebook down and kind of just chill, you know what I mean? AJ Malfoy came in with like a bam, bam.
Well,
boom,
I guess
flat out.
Our son made a comment too, Jonathan.
But that comes later.
No, that comes right after.
Oh. I think I added in later, but I did write it.
Yeah, Jonathan says, I guess he must have read. No, he replied to AJ. I see what he did.
Yeah.
He replied. So AJ's comment is.
Yeah. So AJ, I know I wrote the thing down.
Yeah, AJ came.
So again, I'm about to sit back. Slept for like 2 hours. Obviously the legs painful.
He did not let me sleep last night at all.
I've probably slept a total of 4 or 5 hours in an entire week.
It's been a rough
Yeah. So trying to fight here, come on, let's go, come on, let's go. All right, we can do this. Let's go. All right. So AJ Malfoy came in with a heavy-hitting comment, a heavy-hitting one. So simplistic in nature, but when I got thinking about it, heavy-hitting. Read the comment.
In regards to racket smashing, Novak has even admitted that he doesn't enjoy doing it. I know it isn't pleasant to watch and it's a bad example, but tennis players aren't robots. They have to release their emotions somehow. So personally, I don't disapprove it as much as you do. In fact, I was happy to see Novak smash a racket. I'd rather have that than the stupid wry smiling that he does. Yeah, I don't enjoy I agree with AJ to a point. Sometimes players do have to let, something out. Like when I get mad, I just can't smash a racket. I'm sorry. I came from nothing, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. A racket is too...
Let's have that spider. Let him go. Yeah, don't kill him. All right. Hold on. We had spider intrusion. Given that I just got out of the hospital for some unknown thing, potentially an infected bite, probably should just get him out of the door. There you go. Spider's okay. Spider is okay. All right. So you were saying...
I don't agree with that. I don't like watching a player smash a racket. I don't care who it is. Especially since, like I said, I came from nothing, and I know how much it took for my dad to get me a racket. I just can't smash a racket. I mean, when I'm upset, I hit myself or I yell, but I don't smash a racket. But I'm not going to say that it's terrible that a player does it. I know they need to let frustration out. Somehow, I've seen you throw rackets and stuff, which I totally disagree with. I don't like it at all. So I mean, if Novak broke one racket, it's okay as long as it's not every match like some players do. You know, some players do it all the time.
Some people are habitual racket
Yeah,
smashers.
Novak smashes a racket. It's rare when he does, but that racket he smashed it. You can see the pieces on TV just fly off as he did it.
Right. So
there's nothing wrong. AJ, I agree with you. It's not pleasant to watch, but I guess it's what he had to do to get through that match.
What I think I take away from this is a name of a book that Malfoy could write, and this would be the title. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is the title of the book. The book is, quote, "The Positive Side of Racket Smashing."
Yeah, I've seen my dad do it.
Here there are many of stories and many of rackets that break on a daily basis. Some athletes say they break it and it brings them back. Mm-hmm. For me, I've never broken a racket, but generally if I toss a racket, I'm so mad at myself because I got to go get it and then come all the way back. It usually just makes me worse.
I think it's so stupid when you do that, honestly.
So I think that there can be some positive that comes out of breaking a racket. I guess that's not enough.
There is sometimes some players, by smashing a racket, they play better. I've seen my dad smash a racket, grab another one, which I don't agree with again, and he plays better. You know, I think Novak needed to let some anger out, so he smashed that racket and he started playing better.
So Malfoy brings up a great topic, and it really got me thinking because there's two sides to the story, and there's also a gentleman or a young lady aspect of it too, and also there's plenty of eyes that are watching you perform.
Yeah.
And all I'm trying to say is I'm not proing one way or proing the other way because of either or, but I don't see how in anyone's right mind could break a $200, $300 piece of equipment when there's people all over the place that wish they just had a tennis racket. I mean, we hit with whatever. And then to me, it's ostentatious, it's showy, it's unneeded. Now, during this message, my son, who was with her in Mobile, a different town, responded to something here because he had a question.
He said, "Has Federer or Nadal ever smashed the racket?"
So I looked this up. Has Federer and Nadal smashed the racket?
And the reason he asked it because remember his first tournament, he grabbed his racket and he was hitting it.
Yeah.
And we told him we're gonna take you out of the tournament if you do that.
Yeah. Again, we have 5 kids, and Jonathan that just asked a question here. He asked if Nadal or Federer had ever broken a racket. I know Federer has because I've watched it happen. I think it was Miami or something. But Nadal, I looked up, has never broken a racket. So. My question is can racket smashing be positive, and why? But furthermore,
27.
How can it be positive? And then do those positives, if you think it's positive, how do those positives outweigh those that are looking at you or sponsoring you? And I guess there's an old saying, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Well, why do I care? Got my girl, got my kids.
Well, he's selling.
You know, why would I care? But at the same time, you kind of do have to care in a sense.
Yeah, and juniors out there, if you're watching the show, don't break your racket.
Don't break your racket.
It's not a good thing. It's just not. I mean, if you get mad, throw a tennis ball, throw your towel, but don't throw your precious racket.
Yeah, I mean, for us, if one of my kids broke a racket, knowing that gee whiz.
My younger one, Christopher, he has a bad habit of
tapping the racket.
And I told him, I said, if you break that racket, I'm going to give you the cheapest racket I can find, and you're going to play with that.
Yeah, I mean, we all get bent out of shape. We do, and our 14-year-old has a great habit of that, and so does our 16-year-old, so does our 9-year-old.
Yeah,
so does our 6-year-old.
She's done it a few times, and I say, we're not doing that. That's not how we feel in this family.
Well, let's just be brutally honest. For us, when I see a beautiful racket just get crunched into pieces, and I'm looking in our bag, knowing that we could use that, it kind of hits home a little bit more. So if you can understand that, kids...
but again, Novak is not the type of person that smashes his racket a lot.
No.
You got players like Benoit Paire that do it habitually.
Sure.
That's terrible.
All right, so that's a great topic. Comment on that. Is there any positive side to racket smashing, and if so, does it outweigh the cons about your character? Is it worth it? Is it a fair trade? Is it truly about getting you back in the match, or are you just being kind of a brat? I don't know. let's hear some feedback on that. So that is up for the comment of the day. Obviously, that involves some research here. We thought about it. Can there be positives with it and so forth? So remember that the first applicant for comment of the day is Malfoy, and that came in bright and early this morning. So she said we're right at about 30 minutes. We're going to stop.
We were at 27, so I mentioned
So,
close to 30.
Yeah, so we're going to stop part 1 here. I'm just starting to get livened up. I think the first 28 minutes I still didn't know where I was at, but I'm definitely feeling better at this point. So we're going to stop it here, go right into part 2. Click a like below, subscribe below, share the video. We're going to jump right into part 2, and we're going to talk about more viewer comments, matches, and a whole lot more. All right?
See you soon.